Hi, I'm John McDonald from JM Run Coach. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about tapering for your marathon. Now, a taper is going to depend greatly on the individual, what your objectives are, how long your training program had been. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. But first and foremost, how long is the taper? For me personally, I like a 10-day taper. It gives me the opportunity to work on whatever it is I am looking to create adaptation for, right up until that 10-day period. And anything after that is pretty much going to be just a matter of keeping the legs ticking over and keeping the mental approach spot on. However, if this is a first, or if your objectives are slightly different, you may be looking at a 3-week taper at most, and some people 2 weeks. I wouldn't recommend less than a week unless there is something that has interrupted your training and requires you to build right up into marathon week. And that happens as well. So particularly on a first marathon, or someone who is not overly concerned about time, more concerned about finishing strong. Okay, so what else do we look for? So in regards to volume, say you've been averaging 100 kilometers, 60 miles, just as an example, we're going to be dialing that back in the taper. And again, if it's a 3-week taper, we'll dial it back a little bit slower. I like to do a 13-miler or half marathon the Sunday before marathon day. That's just been my habit over the last number of years. It's worked well for me. It keeps me knowing that I've got some endurance in my legs without really taxing me too much after having done much bigger runs during the training program. So volume is going to come down. So like I say, if I was averaging 100 kilometers in the 15th week, I may be bringing that down to 60 kilometers. In race week, that'll likely be more like 10 to 15K in the days leading up to the marathon. So that is very low volume, but I do have 42K or 26 miles on race day. So that week is very light, but there is some intensity. So I may do a 5K tempo run, or a 3-mile tempo run, or a very short progression, something to keep the legs ticking over, knowing that I have the speed. And again, a lot of this is for mental preparation. Okay, what else is important? The work that you've done over the past 13 to 14 weeks, 15 weeks, just keep that in mind. Don't be changing things up drastically. So you should have already nailed down your evening meal, your morning breakfast, your on-run nutrition, so your gels or whatever you're going to take, that should be sorted. And the most important thing now is just not to change things up greatly. Look after yourself. Do things that'll put you in a good place to remain healthy. If you've remained healthy so far, let's keep that. Do those things that keep you healthy. So, staying away from the general public as much as possible if you can. If you have somebody at work that is sick, avoid them. Just, I don't want to say isolate yourself, but do what you have to do to make sure that you reach the start line in a really good condition, or at least do the things, best practices to get there. As far as nutrition goes, there is a lot of talk about carb loading. And personally, I don't carb load. I don't really change a lot. I do change my focus on, say, from 25% of my calories from protein down to about 20, or even slightly less in this last week, 10 days, and change those calories over to carbs. but I'm not going to take 8 grams of carbs per pound of body weight. I would feel like garbage. And, to be honest, what did you do during training? If you managed your training on your long runs without these massive carb loads in the week ahead, then why do it now? Okay, you've practiced your race day nutrition, you know what you need, whether that's 100 grams per hour or whatever it is that you've practiced, stick with that. The last thing you need to do is add on like 5 pounds of body weight in the last week and feel lethargic and overweight and heavy. And, keep things generally normal. Um, and I would ask this question. I want you to think about this because I don't think a lot of people do. What is the reason for you to be carb loading with whatever it is, 6, 8 grams of carbs per pound of body weight? What is the reason for that? And what do you think is going to happen if you don't do that? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. It isn't going to allow you to run a 2-hour marathon. It's just not going to happen. Is it going to prevent you from hitting the wall? No. What's going to prevent you from hitting the wall is your evening meal, your morning breakfast, and your on-course nutrition, right? You've practiced all that. You know what that does. Why are you going to put on a few extra pounds in the last 2 to 3 days of your training? To me, it doesn't make sense. If you are a professional athlete and you're constantly challenging your glycogen stores, that's a different story. We're not professional athletes. We're not, football players. We're not professional runners. We aren't doing 150-mile weeks. These people do need to carb load, but they should be doing that all the time, not just in race week, right? I'm very dubious about carb loading, and I have done it over the years. Uh, we were told you needed to do this, and I have found in all of my sub 3-hour marathons, I have not carb loaded. I've changed some of my protein to carbs, but that's about it. And I've made sure that I have enough on-course nutrition to get me through to the end. Okay, so that's carb loading. Next is strength work. Okay, if you've been doing heavy lifting, if you've been doing a lot of strength training, back off just a little bit. Give your muscles a chance to get the adaptation from the strength work. And I'm not saying stop strength training. I'm just saying back off a little bit. So if you're doing 3 days a week uh, at an hour a day, drop it back to maybe 2 days a week, or keep the 3 days a week and go to maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Just back off a little bit. Come down on the weight a little bit. Maybe go from low reps, high weight to high reps, low weight. Change it up a little bit, but back off the heavy stuff just for till after race day. Okay, hydration. We should always be practicing good hydration practices all the time. My feeling is that if I'm always hydrated, uh, hydration on the course isn't going to be a problem. I will take a little bit of water on each stop, but just a little bit. If it's a very hot day, I'll make sure to have some electrolyte tablets, especially in the lead up. So in a couple of days, just make sure I'm topped up with my electrolytes. And on race day, bring a tablet or a drink that has some electrolytes. So that's really important as well. As far as race day kit goes, nothing new, right? Keep it as you did in your training, and you will not have unexpected surprises. So whatever that is, that's your top. If you're, your shorts, your socks, your shoes, your sports bra, your belts, everything is going to be the same as you used in your training. And that just reduces any of the issues that can arise on race day. Okay, prioritizing sleep. Sleep is important. That's where your body makes all of the changes from all the hard work you've done. So you've got an extra couple of days off during the week. Take advantage of it. Keep your body rested, and sleep is number one priority. So this is the time also to be working on this. So if your objective was to run under 3:30, you keep reminding yourself, my training has gone well. I am a 3:29 runner. I am strong. I can do hard things. Just keep reminding yourself over and over. Positive self-talk. Build that self-belief. If you're convinced of it, it will happen. You have to be 100% certain that you can and will do this. Now, the probabilities are a different story. There are things that you can't control on race day. The weather, the congestion, your health. You may come down with a cold or whatever it is. The important thing is get yourself mentally prepared and be 100% certain that your training has gone well and that you are capable of doing this. You will surprise yourself if you are in doubt, but your coach thinks you can do it. Your coach probably knows better than you do. Okay, so listen to your coach, be confident, and you can do really remarkable things. And the last thing I will say is trust the process. You've put in a great deal of work. You've run a lot of kilometers, a lot of miles. You've done the strength work. You've took on really good stretching habits. You've prioritized your eating. You've done a lot of things to put you in a really good place for this. Trust the process. Don't think in this last week, oh, I forgot, I should have done some more speed work. Oh, I just don't think I'm fast enough. Well, this tapering process is going to put you into better shape, and you will peak on race day. That's the whole objective to marathon training planning, is to peak on race day. So give yourself credit, give your coach credit, give your plan credit. Listen to the people who believe in you. You can do it. Any last minute work is going to be a waste of time and also going to be detrimental to your performance on race day. So if you're putting in extra work, you're trying to make up for lost time, you're just moving the peak day away from race day. And that's just not the way to do it. That's not ideal. So all I'll say now is enjoy your race. Take pride in the work you've done. The training is the hard bit. You have only one really hard, long run left to do, and go out and enjoy it and just make it happen. Just wanted to mention one other thing. I've just published my 6th book. It's called The Beginner Runner's Manual, and it has a lot of information that beginner runners require in order to get up and started. So if you have somebody in your life that is interested in getting up and started, there's plans in there to get them started. There's all information on breathing and different kit, how to assess your current fitness level, pretty much everything. I think I've tried really hard to listen to the feedback from my athletes and new runners in general, and I think I've covered everything in this book. So it's available on Amazon, The Beginner Runner's Manual. Let me know if you have any feedback on it, and I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, have yourself a great run. Enjoy your marathon, enjoy your training, and I will catch you next time.